Alright, so let's get right into this review. The name of the band is Suicide Silence. They are a Riverside, California-based deathcore group, and this is their debut album. It's called The Cleansing. It released on September 8th, 2007. The cover-to-cover album listen time is give or take 41 minutes. I think the highest Billboard spot it ever held was 94th in the first week. The label that published it was Century Media. Their producer for this album was John Travis. A lot of people know him from Buck Cherry, and he did a lot of work with Social Distortion in their prime. At first, the album received a lot of flack for their anti-religion bashing. They're very to the point and in your face about bashing Christianity and religion in this album. And I don't know. I don't really know why that was at first, but because bashing religion is a very big, prominent sort of topic in metal, and I don't know why Suicide Silence got so much shit for it at the beginning, but I don't know. I still think it's a great album, so let's get right into it. The first track on this LP is called Unanswered, and one of the things I'll talk about throughout this review is Suicide Silence technique of dual pitch vocals. Well, basically what that is they'll edit in a death growl over a fry scream or vice versa, and it'll sound like two singers, but it's actually only one. So it just gives you a very unique extra layer of just heaviness to the music that isn't prominent in some other bands that are kind of flat in their vocals, but that's why I love Mitch Lucker so much. But it's very prominent in this song Unanswered, and the breakdown is very heavy and chugging, and it's not a very technical song. I mean, there's a couple of power chords, a solo thrown in there like any usual deathcore song, but I mean, the lasting appeal of this song is good, not great for a debut, like a first song on a debut album. The lyrics are just talking about, worshiping false deities and, prayers not being answered. Other than that, yeah, just references to religion being bad. Where is your fucking God? Other than that, it's a pretty good song. It's okay for their first try. The next song is called Hands of a Killer, and it's a very good song on this album. It has a very good, heavy, thick, intense, sort of layered intro, and that really sets the bar high for the rest of the song. And it has a lot of good palm muting too, which I should talk about. Mitch Lucker just goes so hard on this song, and the breakdown is one of the best on the entire album. I mean, he's just going so ham on this, and he's just screaming right from his gut, right from his heart. You can just feel it when he's just wailing on the mic. It's a great song. It's called Hands of a Killer. I mean, it's just as in your face and hard as you would want a song called Hands of a Killer to be. So the next song is called Price of Beauty. One of my personal favorites of all of Suicide Silence work. The reason I like it so much is because it's much more technical than some of the other work they've come out with in the last couple of years. And this is way back, in their debut album. And, there's more anti-religion, but, hear you scream God, he's not fucking here, bitch. The dual-dialed screaming is used once again in this song, but I thought it could have been used a little bit more uniquely. There's a very good music video that goes along with this song. It's basically about this very pretty girl who comes in for plastic surgery, and she's very cocky and facetious. And she clearly doesn't need plastic surgery, so the doctor just fucks with her face and just fucks it up just for fun. And it's basically the breakdown at the end is just so guttural and brutal. I love it. It's just the price of beauty was more than you thought. It's just a great message. It's just a solid overall song. Once again, I was saying before, the dual-dialed screaming could have been used with the girl. There could have been a male-female dual-pitch scream, like the girl screaming over maybe the guy like Mitch Lucker Fry screaming. I thought that would have been a little unique, but they didn't do it. It's still a solid song overall. The next song, it's kind of bland. It's called The Fallen. It's not really a great song. The album version, to me, sounds kind of jumbled. I've heard that they played it sounds a lot better live. I've never seen Suicide's live, so I can't comment on that, but around 2 minutes, there's a really great reverb effect that they put on the guitar and the vocals, and it really saves the song. It really just adds a layer of, just difference in some of the other just sort of, I don't want to say flat, but just cookie cutter breakdown riff solo breakdown kind of things that Suicide Silence is known for. And I mean, there's another good breakdown at the end. There's a good solo, but the reverb effect really like saves the song because the beats per minute also change, which kind of gives it another feel to it. But it's a very good song all around. The next song is actually my favorite song, my favorite deathcore song ever, of all time, any band ever. It's called No Pity for a Coward. It was released as a single before this album came out to give the public a taste of what they had. And I don't know what else to say about it other than it's my favorite metal song of all time. It comes in the intro with a very thrashy, gent influence kind of blast beat backed guitar riff, and the lyrics are very inspirational. I mean, fuck your past, the future's in your hands. Those, I mean, it's kind of a generic topic, but given the like hard, like the thickness of the music and just the in-your-face, like get you pumped up kind of shit, it just makes it just such a great song. I mean, one of the best breakdowns, in my opinion, in all of deathcore history. I mean, seconds from the end, what's it gonna be? Pull the trigger, bitch. Like, put your fucking shades on. Like, that's just such a famous line to me. It just hits home so well. It just shakes your bones when you listen to it. It's just such a great song. I mean, to me, this song makes the album whole. If you're gonna show anybody deathcore, anybody death metal, if you're gonna show anybody Suicide Silence, I mean, make them listen to No Pity for a Coward. It is in my opinion, the best deathcore song out there. So that's that. My favorite song of all time. The next song is called The Disease. Once again, it's kind of a throwaway kind of track. It's very bland. There's lots of blast beats. I mean, it's just a typical, deathcore song. The reason I think it's not that great is it sounds way too much like Price of Beauty and Hands of a Killer. I mean, there's a great chugging palm muted breakdown in the middle, and they add an echo effect to it, which kind of makes it very different. But overall, it's kind of a throwaway at best song. The riff sounds way too much like the other two songs I mentioned. But that's The Disease. The next song is called Bludgeoned to Death. I love this song. It's one of the best songs in the album, probably the second best song, in my opinion. It has a very speedy thrash guitar riff that comes in, thrash-inspired guitar riff that comes in at the beginning. As you can tell, I'm a very big thrash fan. I mean, this song, the thrash riff kind of reminds me of something you hear in Exodus, but the drums are also great. They sync well with the guitar. Around 1 minute in, the thing that I love about this song is it's a very unique sort of breakdown. All the music cuts out, and it's just Mitch Lucker just fry screaming at the top of his lungs, just like yelling at somebody, and it just hits home, and it sets the stage for the rest of the song. It just makes it that much more brutal and just in your face. I love it. And the distortion too in this song it's turned up very high, but it doesn't hamper the sound of the actual song at all. Like, some bands have way too much distortion. You kind of can't hear the bass, sometimes you can't hear the rhythm guitar, strumming. But in this song, it's done very well, and the death growls with the huge distortion sound great too. So, I mean, this song is almost as good as No Pity for a Coward, so that says something right away. So that's called Bludgeoned to Death. Second best song on the album. Listen to it. The next song is called Girl of Glass. It's a great breakdown. I mean, it's an average everything else. It's an average guitar riff, average lyrics, average drumming. I mean, even the lyrics in this song are kind of awkward at times. Once again, the riffing is sort of repetitive, and the drumming is pretty good. Halfway through the song kind of picks up with like this double bass. It's just very speedy double bass, and it sounds good, but the lyrics and the guitar don't match up with it as well as they do in the other songs. I mean, it's one of those filler songs. I mean, it's worth a listen probably, but it's good, not great. The next song, called In a Photograph, is also pretty good. What I haven't mentioned yet is that Suicide Silence recorded this album live. So that means as a fivesome, they went into a recording studio and just did everything raw. Recorded every song right off the bat, just raw instrumental power. And you can really hear that brutality and that intensity and that, like, what's the word? I don't know, just that intensity in the in this song, in a photograph. And it's basically 3 or 4 breakdowns split up by riffy solo kind of things. And the lyrics are but the building up of the breakdowns, the way they do this song is just so great. It's just deathcore through and through. It's like the first breakdown is kind of bland, and they add a little guitar to it, and the next one they add like a different, they add the dual rib vocals to like the third one, and it just a great song. If you're a fan of deathcore, I don't know how this song is all breakdown. And if you're a fan of deathcore, you love breakdowns. So this is worth a listen in a photograph. The next song is called Eyes Sewn Shut. And once again, generic-ish lyrics, but a great fucking breakdown. Once again, Suicide Silence, known for their breakdowns, praised for their breakdowns. I love them. If this song is just talking about the torture and torment it would have, like, just poking at the deepest, darkest secrets of your mind. I mean, what would it be like if your eyes were actually sewn shut? How would you perceive the world? And while the lyrics are sort of generic, like Saw movie kind of shit, it's still a very, very good song. And another thing about the song that I really like is the balance between Fry screaming and death growling. Some bands really turn me off when they only have one or the other. Like, for example, Cannibal Corpse, all death growling. That doesn't really do anything for me. Or, what's another band that only Fry screams? Heaven Shall Burn, only Fry screaming. Like, this song, it's very evident. They use a very good, solid balance between the two vocal styles, and it really just makes the music a lot better for me. I don't know why exactly, but that's just one of the biggest factors of me loving Suicide Silence so much. So the next song, that's Eyes Sewn Shut, by the way. Very good song. The next one is called Green Monster, and in my opinion, it's another one of the best songs in this album because of the lyrical content, ironically. Because most of these songs are only talking about bashing religion. You know, where's your fucking God? All that bullshit. This song is talking about money and how money has screwed up our society, how it's created everything that's wrong with the world. I mean, you can look up the lyrics. We've created a monster, creator of crime, creator of deceit. It's just a great change from the constant religious bashing. And it has a great breakdown in there, too. A very heavy, like it fits the topic, the lyrical topic. Just a very heavy, guttural breakdown. So that's Green Monster, a very good change of pace to all the other stuff. The last song on this album is called Destruction of a Statue. It's actually a hidden track. It's kind of weird because it's after Green Monster, there's like a minute to a minute and a half little stretch of like awkward silence, but it's like chaos noises where it's kind of like cars blowing up and women screaming and babies crying, just like weird shit. And then this song comes in, it's like the hidden track, and it's just a great catchy riff, like it's something you'd hear in like an Atreyu song, or like it's just a very good change, and it sounds great coming off of all the like the emotional strain the rest of the album has put on you with all its thick breakdowns and like just all that other just deathcore stuff, and it's kind of like a release, and it just feels really good to listen to, and it comes back at the end with another Suicide Silence metal through and through breakdown, and it just the featured vocalist in that last breakdown actually isn't Mick Lucker. It's another guy. I don't remember what his name is right off the top of my head, but his death growls in the last breakdown are on point. Some of the best on the entire album. I wish they had this guy on there more, but it's just a really fitting end of the album. And there's a solo at the end too where Chris Garza uses the whammy bar, and it's just, once again, it's just a change of pace from all the thick chugging breakdowns. It's like, it sounds like a Stradivarius song for a little bit. It's just a very great release to the end of the album. So the overall appeal of this one, this is what I'll say. The gems on this album, I'll list them: Price of Beauty, No Pity for a Coward, Bludgeon to Death, Green Monster, that hidden track, even Hands of a Killer. They make this album worth the buy because they're that good. Like, the other songs are kind of monotonous, and yeah, they leave something to be desired, but I mean, yeah, sure, they fill space. That's what most people will say. But there are certain aspects of those throwaway songs that make them worth the buy. Make it the whole album worth the buy, worth the listen. Because, like, what's an example? The reverb effect in The Fallen saves it from being a complete shitstorm of a song. Like, the echo effects in The Disease save it from being a complete throwaway, because it's kind of a unique sort of thing you would hear with another band that they try to incorporate fairly well into one of their songs. So it's just worth a listen. In A Photograph, I mean, if you're a deathcore fan, you're going to love breakdowns. And even though most people would be like, oh, a song of all breakdowns, like, that's kind of boring. But the way they do it, layering a little piece of, like, guitar or a little piece of something just to spice up the next breakdown of that song, it just makes it worth the listen. I mean, variety is the spice of life, and that's what Suicide Silence does in these little filler songs, is that they put a little something that makes it worth the listen. And that's why I'm stressing to buy this album. This whole album, don't leave anything out. Obviously listen to No Pity for a Coward first, because it's fucking awesome, but it's about $10 on iTunes. I mean, if you're looking for a deeper, more lyrically complicated thing, like, go listen to Atreyu or, like, Pierce the Veil. I mean, if you're looking for more complicated guitar playing and more complicated drumming, go listen to Psyopus or a tech metal band, Structures. Like, I don't know what else to say. Suicide Silence is brutality, it is deathcore, it's in your fucking face, as hard, as fast, as guttural as you possibly can, and that's why I love it, that's why most people love it. I mean, I'm going to miss them releasing albums. I love Mitch Lucker. He's one of the best vocalists ever. So overall, it's even though, and the other thing is, even though there's a lot of religious bashing on this album, the way they incorporate it doesn't really hurt the overall appeal of it. They're not monotonous in the way they use it. They kind of change it up a little bit. They add spice to it, like I said before. It's not just constantly fuck God, fuck God, fuck God. They're incorporating it in different ways. So overall, I mean, it's a great album. It does fall prey to some stupid trends like repetition, but there's only so many ways you can do breakdowns. I mean, a lot of deathcore bands follow this trend, but still, it's a great album, worth the buy. I mean, even those weird trends are excusable because it is their debut album, but overall, I love it. My favorite song ever is on here, No Pity for a Coward. Put your fucking shades on. Suicide Silence, The Cleansing. That's all.